85 million with flexible payments. Call 0726 202 876.
Have what it takes to become the next generation of great innovators, ICT solutions providers, business gurus, corporate icons, and renowned engineers. Enroll now for our September 2019 intakes in postgraduate, degree, and diploma programs in the following schools: School of Business and Economics, School of Arts and Social Sciences, School of Information Sciences, School of Education, School of Agriculture and Natural Resources, School of Biological and Physical Sciences, School of Tourism, Hospitality and Events Management, School of Aerospace Science, School of Public Health, School of Medicine. Moi University, the foundation of knowledge.
Do you like a challenge? Are you an innovator? The EcoSafi Innovation Awards is calling for innovations that provide sanitation solutions for domestic and industrial waste. These solutions should be centered around storage and on-site treatment, conveyance or transport of waste, off-site treatment, and safe end-use or disposal. To participate in the EcoSafi Innovation Awards, register through our online submission platform on the Ministry of Water and Sanitation website. EcoSafi, sanitation for all.
This is NTV.
It's time for the day's top stories from our NTV newsroom. This is NTV Tonight, live from the Nation Center. Tonight, did this teenager have to die over a monthly period?
The money that has been allocated for this financial year, 470 million, 107 million is already missing.
Questions over sanitary towel supply program and why the pads are yet to reach the schoolgirls. Also tonight, another crime with police at the center of it.
Hakuna vile polisi na polisi anaweza toa polisi mwenzake nguo.
Waning trust as law enforcers turn into lawbreakers. We take a look at the cases. Plus, President Kenyattas' turn order to MPs.
The president is just saying, and we have agreed with him, that is a function of not PSC, is a function of SRC.
And Parliament now backpedals on the contentious PSC bill and their remuneration. And life after the wife swap.
Sababu yeye alitangulia kuchukua wa huyu na huyu pia achukue wake.
Society has its say on Busia's bizarre couples and opinion is divided down the middle.
NTV Tonight with Mark Masai.
Good evening, Flora Tieno, our sign language interpreter, and I are glad you've chosen NTV Tonight for your day's news update. Now, this story has a heartbreaking prelude. A Class 6 pupil in Bomet took her own life after her teacher shamed her for soiling her clothes with her menses, or periods. Her death has now kindled wildfire protests. Women members of parliament today stormed the Ministry of Education offices to demand answers on the government's faltering plans to distribute sanitary towels to girls in school and the missing millions meant for the project. NTV's Sharon Baranga also reports that the Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang has in the past been caught in the grime after members of parliament linked his firm to the dubious tender to supply sanitary towels to schools.
Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha received uninvited guests just when he was about to call it a day. At around 4 p.m. today, about 30 women members of parliament stormed Jogoo House, which houses the offices of the ministry. With them were a lot of unanswered questions concerning the purchase and distribution of sanitary towels meant for learners in schools, and the budget that Parliament had passed for purchase of the same.
Same money that has been allocated for this financial year, 470 million, 107 million is already missing. Let the money be availed. We don't want to hear this case again. Right now, we are talking, we have lost a girl alive, a very young girl.
Their concerns stem from a sad ending to a young, budding life. Jacqueline Chepngeno, a Class 6 pupil from Kabiangek Primary School in Bomet County, took her own life minutes after she informed her mother that one of her female teachers had reportedly ridiculed her in the presence of other pupils for soiling her uniform with her monthly period.
Sanitary nyingi ambazo zinapelekwa katika mashule at the sub-county level hazifiki kwa mashule haswa kwa watoto. Zingine zikifika zinafungiwa kwa containers, zingine zinawekwa kwa staff room. Hizi delays za kuprocure, kupeleka kwa mashule, hizo sanitary towels zinafika wakati watoto wamefunga.
On the fate of the teacher who is accused of having ridiculed Jacqueline Chepngeno, members of parliament say the Cabinet Secretary for Education has promised to provide a full report on Monday next week once investigations are complete.
The body of the 14-year-old girl was found dangling from a tree next to their tea farm. The news of her death stoked the community's anger. Parents at the Kabiangek Primary School stormed the institution demanding the arrest of the teacher in question. Last month, members of parliament questioned the Basic Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang over a tender to supply sanitary towels to schools. They wanted to know how 6 companies which did not present the lowest bids were awarded the tender to supply sanitary towels to schoolgirls, leading to a loss of 25 million shillings. Kenyattas Construction, one of the 6 companies which emerged number 6 after quoting 23 million shillings, was awarded the tender against the lowest bid of 19 million shillings. The members of parliament linked PS Belio Kipsang to one of the companies, Kenyattas Construction, which they claimed share the same address to Bellion Construction, an Eldoret-based company associated with the PS. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
3 police officers attached to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations in Bungoma were earlier today arrested in Busia town in possession of fake currency. The officers were found with fake US dollar bills and 2,000 shillings in fake Kenyan currency. Police who arrested them said they had been tipped off that the officers were traveling in a saloon car and were carrying the cash. The 3 police officers, Joseph Kahindi, Ayub Nganga and Alex Rasto Kiplimo, claimed they were taking part in a covert operation to arrest money laundering suspects when they were intercepted. But it's not the first time that police have found themselves in trouble with the very law they've sworn to uphold. Just this week, police officers have been caught up in a number of crimes, some committed while on duty. NTV's Setolale illustrates the indiscipline of the disciplined men in uniform.
5-month-old Claudia Wanjiku and 6-year-old Alice Wanjiru are trying to come to terms with life without their brother Duncan Githinji, who was allegedly shot and killed by a police bullet. Inside their home in the sprawling Soweto slum in Kahawa West, close relatives and friends have gathered to comfort the bereaved family. But the family remains inconsolable and unhappy about the progress of investigations into their loved one's death.
Kwezi kuwa na haki. Kwa maana hakuna vile polisi anaweza toa polisi mwenzake nguo. Lazima atake kuficha.
According to residents here, Incidents of this nature are not strange. In 2010, a police vehicle on patrol allegedly ran over a one-year toddler, killing him instantly. That family, like this one, is still waiting for justice. Parents of Mademba Secondary School in Makueni have accused police from the Kavumbu police station of beating up and seriously injuring students from the school in an attempt to stop a planned strike. The security officers are said to have locked up the students in the science lab where they brutally beat them up, leaving a number of them with serious injuries. The police allegedly wanted the students to name teachers and parents who have been inciting them against the school principal, Wilhelmina Matheka.
Anatuchapa kwa rungu, vibogo, matege, makofi. Alitulima sana.
2 police officers arrested over the weekend in connection with the 72 million shillings heist at a Standard Chartered ATM last Thursday were arraigned alongside other accused persons. Constable Vincent Award is believed to have been caught using the stolen money. Constable Chris Ayenda Machogu was arrested in possession of 4 million shillings at his home in Kisii. The 2 pleaded not guilty and were each released on a 1 million bond. And with the rise in such cases, the faith of the public in the police has been plummeting. Seth Olale, NTV.
Meanwhile, President Uhuru Kenyatta wants MPs to keep off matters salaries and leave it to the Salaries and Remunerations Commission as he rejected their plans to improve their perks. NTV's political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi looks at the memorandum by President Kenyatta and points out his reservations on the Parliamentary Service Commission Bill 2018.
The memo now before Parliament highlights reservations the President has on specific clauses, mostly touching on Parliament's attempts to poke into the work and mandate of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. President Kenyatta asked Parliament to review clauses 20 and 43 of the Parliamentary Service Bill 2018, which touch on the allowances of parliamentarians and parliamentary staff. Clause 20 on the facilitation of activities held outside the precincts of Parliament says the Commission shall prescribe the minimum standards for travel and accommodation for members and staff of Parliament to facilitate performance of official duties outside the precincts of Parliament. The Commission shall formulate parliamentary service schemes of service, setting out the terms and conditions for the employment of the officers and other staff of the service. In essence, President Uhuru Kenyatta has asked Parliament to stick to its lane and not meddle so much on what the SRC does in its work.
We realized that there was no need for that section to be there. That is a function of SRC. So the President is just saying, and we have agreed with him, that that is a function of not PSC or SRC. It's a function of SRC.
During the debate on the bill in June and July, MPs insisted they were independent to conduct their own business and set ceilings for their allowances and salaries, arguing they fell under the Parliamentary Service Commission and the SRC had no business in what they took home.
The contention between Parliament and SRC was on the discrimination on SRC in treating of all public servants in the 3 arms of government. The contention between us and SRC was not on increase our salaries, increase on this.
The leaders of the National Assembly seem to have resigned to fate and have halted their clamor for more perks as discussion on the memorandum is done in low tones. For the House to defeat the President's memo, they will require 2/3 majority or 233 MPs to overturn it. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV.
From the tamed waheshimiwas to some not so respectable exchanges between these two, and the rejection of the Punguza Mzigo bill by the Kanaga County Assembly ignited an ugly and rather public slur between Governor Anne Waiguru and Third Way Alliance Party leader Ekuru Aukot on social media. As Ken Mijungu reports, it all started when Governor Waiguru termed the bill an unfortunate embarrassment. Aukot, in a snappy comeback, lashed back, labeling Waiguru a public thief.
When the bill by the Third Way Alliance Party hit the floor of the Kanaga County Assembly, it was clear from the beginning there was no hope for its adoption. Once tabled, there was no one to second it, and the bill could not move to the debate stage. A big blow for Ekuru Aukot, who says the bill is not his own, but a reflection of the wishes of 1.2 million Kenyans. But obviously not the people of Kirinyaga.
And we've had discussions with many people, enlightening them on the importance of ensuring that it does not pass.
But it was the words posted on the governor's social media account that stirred Okot's anger.
The county assembly read, looked at the bill, had caucuses, and finally had a decision that they should not let it pass because it's not in the interest of Kirinyaga people.
Guru wrote, and I quote, "The bill was thrown out on the basis of the law and standing orders of the Kirinyaga County Assembly, period. Even on its merits, this bill is in any event an unfortunate embarrassment," end of quote. This tweet will then inevitably expose the ugly side and the tolerant nature of the so-called leaders. It was picked up first by Third Way Alliance's Secretary General Frederick Okango, who shot back saying, quote, "Fortunately for Kenya, we don't run on your underdealing in Kirinyaga County. Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019 was never debated on its merit by your assembly, but on the basis of your corrupt dealings and selfishness. Even on your feeble reasons, you are an embarrassment to Kenya," end of quote. Okot added in a tweet, quote, "To Anway Guru and the Lords of Impunity, it's not over yet. 19 members of the County Assembly support the Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019. Your underhand dealings at the County Assembly purportedly denied them the opportunity to debate and vote on the bill, which must be tabled. This didn't happen as required." Okot further hit out at the governor, who he labeled a public thief. In yet another tweet, he quipped, "The ghosts, demons and spirits of the National Youth Scandal are becoming real in Punguza Mzigo Bill 2019. This is why Anway Guru is prematurely celebrating an illegality that took place at the County Assembly of Kirinyaga. A public thief cannot tell Kenyans about integrity. Even the recent audited reports from the Auditor General speaks for themselves. For your information, the biggest heist you orchestrated is now a world case study. It killed the dreams of many young Kenyans. You can't fool people all the time." Waiguru, however, retorted, and I quote, "Focus on your defective bill and stop tired sideshows. We all know who the creators and ghosts of the National Youth Scam were. They fund and feast with you. For your information on corruption, some of us remember the COE, massive financial irregularities. We read the reports. You can't fool people all the time." The Punguza Mizigo Bill needs the approval of at least 24 counties before it goes to the next step. So far, only one county has approved it. Ken Mijungu, NTV.
Never a dull moment in our timelines these days. Now, 5 days after he promised to name a deputy and step down, Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko is yet again on the spot for failing to fulfill that promise. The embattled governor has been out of town ever since, according to sources in his office. Critics now argue that this inaction could push the city-county into a constitutional crisis. NTV's Silas Apollo reports.
It has been close to a week since Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko made a promise to the residents of the city-county, one that dates back almost 1 year ago.
Nitachagua mtu atashikilia ofisi, tufue jina kwa assembly, mimi nijiondoe na uchunguzi ufanywe kwanza.
But almost a week later, nothing seems forthcoming. Our visit to the county headquarters today showed business going on as usual, with sources telling NTV that the county boss is on a vacation out of town. Sonko's critics say that the failed promises and a lack of action risk exposing his leadership.
That can lead to some individual in Nairobi deciding we are tired with this government, we want to have it suspended, all of it, and move in that direction towards ensuring the government is suspended.
Sonko's inability to pick a deputy has been linked to his mistrust of his staff and even close aides, who have been resigning at an alarming rate since the beginning of his reign in Nairobi County. His deputy Polycarp Gathe resigned in 2017 over a poor working relationship with the governor. Matters have further been complicated by the lack of a substantive Speaker of the Assembly after Beatrice Elachi was impeached.
The only problem with Mike Sonko is that he sees enemies in every bush.
The governor's critics say that the delay tactics are because of his love for sideshows and a lack of order in the county.
We will not mention of any steps until you senators pass that bill, the County Government Act bill, until it is accepted by the president for it to become law, then I can comply with that law.
The governor is currently battling a tax evasion case with the Kenya Revenue Authority and another corruption case with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Silas Apollo, NTV.
A few people hold as much power as judges. Within their sacred chambers, they are revered. But as often happens with positions that hold great power, there are concerns it could be abused. Now, in recent days, judges have seemingly backed their own, facing questions on their character. And while some say the arrests and prosecution serve to erode public trust in the judiciary, others are of the view there are no better ways to hold judges to account. Mel Miendo wades into the debate.
The judiciary mandate as an impartial adjudicator has often come into question, but of more concern is how some judges facing questions on their integrity have seemingly managed to wriggle out of trouble.
There is nobody who is above the law in the country. The judges and magistrates are civil servants. They are subject to the law like any other Kenyan. They are subject to Article 27 like any other Kenyan. The only person who you cannot arrest while in office is the President of the Republic.
4 days ago, when Mombasa Principal Magistrate Edgar Kagoni was arrested for the loss of a heroin exhibit worth 30 million shillings, he became one of the few judges to have spent the night in police custody. Following his arrest, his lawyers and an association of judicial officers sought orders from the High Court to have him released on bond, citing concerns about the threat to his liberty.
Drug cartels and the land cartels are the most powerful cartels in this country. They bribe judges, they put judges in their pocket, they put the magistrates in their pocket, so that wherever there is an issue, they're able to get in bond quickly, the case is able to be delayed, and so on. So sometimes it is necessary for the police to overreach when they are dealing with the serious crimes.
They also criticized the treatment accorded the judge, saying it was an affront to the independence of the judiciary.
If there's reason to believe that a crime has been committed, then the DPP has a right to go to court and get a search warrant, and then it's searched to confirm that there is a crime. So I don't know where the harassment comes from, and if any Kenyan, whether judicial officer or otherwise, feels that there is harassment from the two bodies, they are free to go to court.
When Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu was arrested, a number of lawyers came to her aid in the case against the DPP, which she won in court. She argued that the DPP could not institute proceedings against a sitting judge, yet the Judicial Service Commission that looked into the conduct of judges had not taken any action. Mwilu is a member of the JSC.
It may be the time now to delink the Judicial Service Commission from judiciary, because you can expect some sympathies for colleagues. That is very natural. You can't blame them for having those sympathies, even though the law ought to dictate the outcome of any judicial inquiry. But sometimes these biases come.
There are those who hold the view that the flagrant arrest and prosecution of judges served to erode the independence of the judiciary and the public's trust in the institution. Mel Miendo, NTV.
Another showdown is looming at the Kisumu County Assembly tomorrow after the two warring factions vowed to escalate the fight for the control of the House. A team allied to ousted Speaker Onyango Law says it will march back to the House and install him as the Speaker. This comes even as the newly elected acting Speaker, Elisha Oraro, presided over his first session, but under tight security and quite necessary, if you'll see some of these shots by Oko Kusa in his report.
The session that began at 9 a.m. was given a wide berth by MCAs allied to the ousted Speaker Onyango Lu. The pro-law team has threatened to march to the Assembly tomorrow to reinstate him as the Speaker. a move that is likely to be met by stiff resistance from the anti-Olo camp.
So help me God.
Today's session was conducted under tight security, with police mounting a roadblock outside the assembly building to keep away troublemakers. Also in attendance were the clerks, the sergeant-at-arms, and some of the assembly orderlies. Yesterday, the honorable members traded blows and kicks as they fought over the assembly leadership, a fracas that saw the assembly staff caught in the crossfire. But some of the assaulted MCAs, including the Deputy Speaker Roy Samu, have ruled out legal action against their colleagues, saying the matter was political. Ukokusa, NTV, Kisumu.
Let's call things to order by taking a break here on NTV tonight, but still ahead. Society has its say on the Busia wife swap, and opinion is divided right down the middle.
I shave, others will notice. Gillette's affordable 3-bladed razor gives you up to 10 smooth shaves. Upgrade to Gillette Blue 3 today. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Anything crazy without your friends? Drink Fanta. Taste fun.
Do you want to enjoy the convenience of a credit card that fully adheres to Islamic principles of financing? Then Gulf African Bank's Awal credit card, the first Islamic credit card in East Africa, is the solution you're looking for. It is a card that will ultimately complement your lifestyle. The Gulf African Bank Awal Islamic credit card offers a viable option for all people ascribing to the Islamic mode of banking, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, to access interest-free credit. It also comes with great perks and privileges, including worldwide airport lounge access. You will be able to know the cost up front, which will empower your decision-making. Call 071-107-5000, SMS AWAL to 21981, or visit your nearest branch to order yours today. Gulf African Bank, your partner through life's journey.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth, causing that discomfort. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne to their patients. It's able to get inside the tooth and calm the nerve of the tooth down, and the proof's in the results. It works.
The three sides of Anna.
We were born as identical triplets. I have a strong feeling that my sister, she's alive somewhere. Who knows where in this world?
What you did has no forgiveness.
Ana Lucia is my daughter. You're being unfair, Mother. You're being very unreasonable. Those are my parents that died too, and I also lost a sister, Grandma. And you have all forgotten that 3 years ago I had to bury my husband, the love of my life, Grandma.
The three sides of Anna.
Do you have what it takes to become the next generation of great innovators, corporate icons, and renowned engineers? Enroll now for our September 2019 intakes. Moi University, the foundation of knowledge.
Welcome back to some politics. Now, Jubilee Party's hopeful in the Kibra by-election, MacDonald Mariga, is now betting on the outcome of a decision by the IEBC Dispute Resolution Tribunal, where he has challenged IEBC's decision to lock him out of the race. Mariga holds he is a registered voter in Starehe constituency. NTV's Brenda Wanga, however, reports that the road to getting his name on the ballot box may be even more complicated.
Barely 24 hours after being turned away from the Kibra by-election, Jubilee's aspirant MacDonald Mariga and his legal team were at the IEBC's headquarters to file a complaint against that decision. Mariga's candidature was invalidated by the IEBC on grounds that he wasn't a registered voter, not just in Kibra, but anywhere in the country.
That the register that the returning officer was referring yesterday, we don't know if it was a national register or a register for Kibera constituency. That's why we've come here, so that the commission can now call the returning officer for Stare constituency, bring the KIMS kit and confirm if actually indeed Macnul Mariga applied to be registered as a voter in Kibera constituency.
But the Jubilee candidate isn't seeing red in the Kibra by-election contest on virtue of his voter registration status alone. According to the IEBC, the timing of his bid to get into the voters' roll is also in contravention of election laws, which demand that all electoral activities of voter registration included must stop upon the declaration of a vacancy. The National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi declared the Kibra parliamentary seat vacant on the 14th of August following the death of Ken Okoth. Nearly 2 weeks later, MacDonald Mariga applied to be registered as a voter in Sarehe constituency, a violation of the Election Act. Section 5B of that act states that while voter registration is carried out continuously, it stops on the date of the declaration of a vacancy in a by-election.
IBC is mandated to keep an up-to-date register. And in this case, that means that the register that the IBC should have for Kibra constituency is a register up to the 14th of August, when the writs were issued by the Speaker.
The Jubilee team will not only have to navigate their candidate's voter registration status, but they will have to contend with the challenge of actually getting him into the register should it be found that he is indeed eligible to vote and to vie. As it stands, the electronic register is a primary voter's roll in Kenya. The software firm contracted to maintain it has been banned from operating in Kenya for 10 years, which means it is possible that the maintenance of the electronics register hasn't been done since 2017. Jubilee now says it is waiting for the IEBC to expeditiously list their case for hearing as soon as possible to enable them carry on with their campaigns. Brenda Wanga, NTV.
For about 3 million people who badly need food relief, it's a daily struggle, walking a thin line between life and death. The rains have failed, and as a result, once fertile lands are now dust bowls. The government plans to distribute relief food and water to communities who badly need it, but these temporary measures will do little to ensure communities caught up in endless cycles of drought remain resilient. Charity Mwangi paints a picture of the drought situation and the half measures in response.
In Garissa, the livestock market is particularly quiet at this time of the year. The thin frame of the frail livestock stands symbolic of their thinning hope of making it through the long, dry spell. Though there has been small smatterings of rain, it was hardly enough a relief for these parched lands. Many are now walking along this path of the dead and the dying. In Tharaka-Nithi County, the rains are a forgotten feature in the atmosphere. The barren lands tell of the battle with the big dry.
Hakujanyesha kwa long time kama miaka 3, na huku watu wako na shinda sana. Juu chakula yenyewe yenye tunanunua, tunaenda kununua kwa kaunti zingine na bei ya juu sana.
Sasa ukiangalia kwenye kumekauka, chakula tu tunategemea hii mikeka.
This milk bar remains closed and the shop is now up for rent because milk is no longer available and communities can ill afford the little that's there. Water is also a scarce resource.
Wakati kwa usiku ndio tunapatanga maji, ndio unaona mitungi yetu iko hapa kwa wingi. Wengine wanazanga hapa, inararanga hapa, hata sisi tunararanga hapa usiku, mzana ndio tunaenda. Hakuna maji hata nyumbani ya kupika, hata ya kunywa.
In Kajiado, a similar situation unfolds. Hunger and death stalks people and livestock alike. An estimated 3 million people will soon have nothing to eat, but government response is still buying livestock, delivering relief food and tracking water.
The money for food has already been released, was released in mid-August, 700 million. And the food purchasing and distribution has been going on since then. To this, most affected 14 counties.
Marsabit appears to be hardest hit. Communities have to do battle with hunger and the cases of insecurity that have uprooted them from their homes and lives.
Tunahofia kwamba wanafunzi wanaweza potea wengi zaidi.
Sisi tunalia zaidi Kuna uchungu mingi, kuna tabu mingi kwa sababu ya vita, ya chakula pamoja na maji.
The nights are long for mothers who have to endure the cries of their hungry young ones. Still, they hold on, waiting for help. While in the city, it may be difficult to understand what communities go through, especially during drought. And maybe, just maybe, that is why the intervention are in most cases misplaced and late. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Let's try paint a brighter picture now, because even though more than 2 million people in 10 of the arid and semi-arid counties are food insecure, according to the National Drought Management Authority, there is some hope. This is, of course, the situation is due to the delay of the long rains, as you've heard in the Charity Mwangi story. However, some residents in Turkana County will not be waiting for food aid following a plentiful harvest at the government-run Napo 2 irrigation scheme, as Bridget Singana reports.
This ripe sorghum stands tall at the Napo 2 irrigation scheme, Turkana Central. The residents here still smarting from the possibility that the bare, dry earth they have been accustomed to can bring forth plenty of harvest just years after gigantic underground water reservoirs were discovered in this arid northern Kenya county.
Maji natoka kwa kifa. Tumelima mahindi na mtama na kunde na dengu.
And while 2.6 million Kenyans in the counties of West Pokot, Marsabit, Baringo, Kitui, Makueni, Kilifi, Garissa, Mandera, Tana River, and other parts of Turkana may be facing food shortage, for more than 100 households here in Napu, their bounty harvest will cushion them from hunger pangs this time.
Kitambo watu ilikuwa nalala na njaa, watu ilikuwa nakaa tu mistuni, kukula mkoma, kupeleka kuni town. Kwa sasa amekula chakula ya chamba na amekaa ndani ya chamba.
The Napo 2 irrigation scheme is a 5,000-acre national government project that has 150 acres currently under crop as it prepares for further expansion.
We want the farm to be expanded to get more food for more families.
Chakula ambayo tutapata ndani tupeleke tu sokoni tuuse ndio tulipie fedha ya watoto ya shule wapate kuendelea kwa masomo.
Bridget, Ghana, NTV.
So there is hope if there's the much needed support for different communities. Now, 2 couples in Busia caused quite the stir following news that they had swapped wives, get this, to save their ailing marriages. But there was nothing unusual in how their story ended. In fact, they've been down a well-beaten path, and while walking away and starting over may be easy, psychologists say the plight of children and cultural practices should be taken into account before one makes that step. Leila Mohammed reports.
For 2 couples in Busia, their happy ever after began way after the happy ever after. Details of how they swapped wives after years of marriage could have made for great fodder for satirical literature.
Watu wameanza kupunguza mila, ndio kwa sababu vitu kama hizo zinafanyika.
And while many found these sentiments interesting,
tulipatana kwa njia na nikamkatia na akakubali.
Sasa kilio kwa wabaya wawili wapatane, wazuri wawili wafanye nini? Pia waishi pamoja.
There are varied opinions about how the story ended.
Mimi siwezi kubadilishwa kwa mwanamume mwenye sipendi.
Sababu yeye alitangulia kuchukua wa huyu na huyu pia achukue wake kwa sababu yeye alifungua njia.
Mulianzana mapenzi siku gani? Walikutana wapi?
But while the couples begin their happily ever after in their new roles and homes, some say in the African setup, children are the lifeline of the bloodline, and as such, there are a number of factors to consider before the children are taken away from their biological parents. For instance, the inheritance for the children and how they would address their new parent.
Na surely, mtu anaweza kulea mtoto ambaye sio wake.
Ukipenda ng'ombe unachukua mpaka ndama zake mpaka kamba.
Ni aibu sana kwa jamii ya Kiluya kwa sababu wazee wetu wamekosa kuelekeza vijana kwa njia zinazofaa.
In June 2016, Patrick Mangala and Ernest Anjeche from Shitiriria village in Lurambi, Kakamega, agreed to swap wives after allegations of an affair emerged.
Huyu amekataa, amesema hawezi toka hapa, atakaa tu hapa. Na mimi nikasema sawa.
In other cultures, married couples exchange wives for a night of fun. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
I know it's cliche, but I don't know whether this is apt to say. Don't try this at home if you know what's good for you. Anyway, just as Kenyans are recovering from the story that is the 72 million shillings heist, and actually the suspects were in court today and were released, something else has happened. Get this, an unknown amount of money belonging to Equity Bank has been stolen at Moyale airstrip. Criminals managed to access the airport and steal the money at gunpoint. And this from an aircraft parked on the runway. One of the criminals drew a gun as a rescue force opened the door of the plane and stole 2 boxes full of cash. They ambushed the plane as a pilot went to check its fuel levels. They then escaped using a motorbike, and it has also been established that the criminals accessed the airport by cutting the chain link fence surrounding the premises. Initial investigations show that the Equity Bank manager had not made prior security arrangements for the money they were expecting. Another money heist here in Kenya. Let's take a break as that settles in, and business news is up next. Have you tried to pay for goods and services using the old 1,000 shilling note and gotten turned away? We tell you why some businesses want nothing to do with the old note.
The Federation of Kenyan Employers invites its members to the 3rd Employer of the Year Awards and Gala Dinner. Please join us at Radisson Blue Hotel in Upper Hill as we celebrate the best employers in Kenya for excelling in corporate performance, people management and labor relations practices on the 20th September 2019 from 6 p.m. FKE, the voice of employers.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Nani wanalia hapo nyuma? Ni mtoto. Usikate, mpatie simu. Halo, Junior.
Cheki, usikate.
Usikate.
Usikate. Story bonus imerudi na madrama na mavideo. Ongea zaidi au ongeza bado skurani yako. Ujipatie 200% story bonus plus 200 MB YouTube free kila siku. Usikate, pata story bonus.
Nawe kila wakati. Do you have what it takes to become the next generation of great innovators, ICT solutions providers, business gurus, corporate icons, and renowned engineers? Enroll now for our September 2019 intakes in postgraduate, degree, and diploma programs in the following schools: School of Business and Economics, School of Arts and Social Sciences, School of Information Sciences, School of Education, School of Agriculture and Natural Resources, School of Biological and Physical Sciences, School of Tourism, Hospitality and Events Management, School of Aerospace Science, School of Public Health, School of Medicine. Moi University, the foundation of knowledge.
When it comes to pimple care, Acne's Creamy Wash contains multiple vitamins and removes excessive oil and dirt. Acne's Toner rejuvenates skin. Acne's Sealing Gel fights bacteria. Use Mentholatum Acne's for clear and smooth skin every day.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Hi there.
Selena!
It's great seeing you getting so much value for your money.
Well, it's important to save as much as you can.
You save everywhere. Except for here. This is where you're throwing money down the drain.
How?
on this cleaning product?
Impossible!
Harpic 10X. While other cleaners flow away, Harpic 10X's viscous formula in only one round of application gives you sparkling, clean toilet. Harpic, 10 times better cleaning than other cleaning products.
And great savings too.
NTV Business News in association with the University of Nairobi.
And let's get down to business. Welcome, I am Julian Amboko. Now, with less than 3 weeks to the September 30th deadline, some business owners have started rejecting any payment in the old 1,000 shillings note due to fear of being left out with the old notes during the last-minute rush to demonetize. Kenyans, on the other hand, feel that with the fake currency in the new notes already in circulation, switching to the new notes is increasingly getting risky.
Mimi ni mchungaji pia mfanyabiashara, hata sadaka staki hiyo, nataka ile mpya. Wanichagulie zile mpya peke yake, kwa sababu zinaweza kunidhulumu, iwe ni kama makaratasi, haiwezi kunisaidia.
Tangu wakati serikali iliposema kwamba pesa mzee zitamalizwa Kenya, nimekuwa nikiambia washirika na hata sasa hivi nimeamua wiki kibakisha moja, hiyo Sunday ya mwisho, hiyo ngiri moja hatutachukua kanisani. Na iko hivyo, nimekuwa nikiwaambia ndio wakuwe aware. Wasikuja na hizo mzee, kwanza warudishe kwa bank, kwa maana zikiisha zimeisha.
The last 2 days, I know there will be a rush. People trying to change this money, and you can easily get fake note because you'll not be very keen with changing this money because people are running up and down trying to change this note.
It's not fair that some businesses are not taking the 1,000 Kenyan currency, which is not fair for most of their customers or their clients. This is because the central bank's deadline is in October, and I believe the central bank issued out alternatives to people who own the old currency, whereby if you have old 1,000 currency, you can either take it to your bank or you can take the currency to the central bank for exchange for the new currency.
Interesting take on demonetization. Elsewhere, Kenya has been ranked 59th out of 140 countries across the globe in the 2019 Change Readiness Index, an improvement from the position 67 in the last ranking of 2017. The index measures how effectively a country anticipates, prepares for, and manages change, including shocks such as adverse weather patterns. This ranking places Kenya as the third best sub-Saharan African country, behind Mauritius, which was placed at position 34, and Namibia, which was ranked 43rd. Resilience to climate change has been highlighted as a key factor influencing Kenya's ranking, coming at a time when the government is engaging in the distribution of relief food in select parts of the country afflicted by famine. And the government is set to spend 500 million shillings towards upgrading Shimoni Jetty in Kwale County into a modern fish port. The project is expected to be undertaken over the next 8 months and generate direct employment for at least 500 people. Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata held a meeting with officials from various government agencies at the coast as they prepared for the rehabilitation of the jetty and several buildings into a functional fish port. Kenya Ports Authority General Manager Vincent Sidais says there is need to build a 150-meter long and 30-meter wide berth to allow small vessels to dock and catch at the Shimoni.
Rais aliagiza kwamba ile mijengo iko hapa iweze kukarabatiwa, iweze kutumika kwa kuweka cold rooms na pia kutumika kama maofisi ya ile port ya Shimoni ambayo tunataka ianze haraka iwezekanavyo.
And Internet Solutions has set up a 20 million shilling cyber threat intelligence center, which is expected to enable companies and organizations to proactively address the now increasingly coordinated and sophisticated cyber attacks. The intelligence center is expected to detect and block cyber attacks before they cause serious financial, operational, and reputational damage. Risk of cyber attacks in Kenya is rising largely due to increased adoption of technology by financial services provider. Cyber attacks are estimated to have cost the economy 29.5 billion shillings in 2018 alone.
The Threat Intelligence Center will work to inform the business fraternity and enterprise organizations on what is happening in the cyber criminals world, and it will give them proactively information of what the cyber criminals are planning, which gives them the weaponry to react objectively to cyber crime in case it hits you.
And back to matters agriculture now. As the world is preparing to feed up to 10 billion people in 2050, optimizing agricultural systems through innovative solutions is one way to approach future scarcities of land and keep up with the demand. In Embu, an initiative that involves the uptake of popping cereals and legumes is empowering local communities by boosting food security, encouraging a healthy diet, creating employment and income generation. Through the project, the farmers have learned to make popcorn from rice, wheat, millet and sorghum.
Beauty with this project is that it's providing an avenue for conserving those neglected, underutilized cereals. One of them is pearl millet, or what they call bulrush millet.
These are foods that have been consumed traditionally and had been lost within our society, and you're trying to reintroduce them and making them consumed in a better way to enhance nutrient consumption of both micronutrients and macronutrients because of their density.
Biashara yetu kile inasaidia ni kupea wakulima, local farmers who are small scale, income kutokana na traditional cereals, na wakipata hiyo income wanaweza kujikimu kwa mahitaji yao.
And up next we have the financial report.
NTV Business News in association with the University of Nairobi.
Interested applicants should apply online at application.uonbi.ac.ke. The University of Nairobi, a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
And that's it from the business desk, but coming after the break. Thousands receive body of the late Robert Mugabe in Zimbabwe, but there's still uncertainty over where he'll be buried. More after the break.
Did you know that our water resources are dying of contamination? Human activities are adversely impacting the quality of water and posing serious health risks in urban and rural areas. Even the aquatic life is not spared. Harmful pollutants emanating from industrial, domestic and agricultural premises need to be managed and prevented from entering into the water bodies. The vegetables we grow, food we eat, water we drink could be contaminated with pollutants. We need to take action. We must all take responsibility to bring our rivers, lakes and other water resources back to life. Everybody has a role to play in this. Water companies, stop contaminating our water resources with unsatisfactorily treated raw sewage into the water bodies. Industries, stop discharging waste, chemicals, paints and pharmaceutical products into the water bodies. Farmers, stop disposing pesticide and other related farm inputs into the water bodies. Developers, stop and do not risk constructing palatial residents and informal settlements along riparian land. Dispose household waste, including garbage, in designated sanitary dumping places. Adhere to effluent discharge control plans. It is an offense punishable by law to use and discharge waste into a water body without a permit. Let all rivers flow undistracted and unpolluted. Stop pollution. Be the solution. Now you can get your Uber ride with a phone call. Call 0800 722 000 to ride. Welcome to Turkana University College. Turkana University is a center of research, innovation, and technological development for advancement of the society. The university is located in the vast resource-rich county of Turkana. We offer unique competency-based training in schools of sciences, business and economics, education, and TVET training. Apply now for our January, May, and September intakes for postgraduate degree and diploma certificate in the following programs: environmental sciences, business administration, environmental health, human evolution biology, renewable energy and technology, education, development studies and social work, information technology, public administration and management, agriculture, early childhood development, ECDE, water technology, marine sciences, petroleum studies, among other courses. Turkana University, the cradle of knowledge.
Wake up in the morning, time to get it.
How do you re-energize?
You're gonna make it. Just take a sip.
How about a Yola?
Energy for this. Take a sip.
Available in 4 flavors, Yola is a cereal milk drink packed with vitamins and minerals that is suitable for all ages and guaranteed to give you a burst of energy in every sip. Yola, power up your day.
Mama, how can I be a champion runner?
Well, you've got to be like a geisha bomb. Staying strong and go so far. Be strong and last long.
Like geisha.
Welcome back. Into some developments from the courts today. 6 suspects, including 3 police officers arrested over the 72 million shillings heist, were charged with robbery with violence and destruction of property. They were released on a 1 million shillings bond amid claims they were tortured by police who interrogated them. The suspects claimed in court that police suffocated them with plastic bags and forced them to state where the stolen cash was from. The court ordered that they deposit their passports in court. This is as another heist in at a Moyale airstrip happens, and this is money belonging to Equity Bank. Will be following that heist story as well. From the international scene, and we begin in Zimbabwe, where thousands of supporters, family members and government officials came out to welcome the remains of former President Robert Mugabe at Harare Airport from Singapore. His remains arrived in a country divided over the legacy of the former liberation hero, whose 37-year rule was characterized by repression and economic ruin. He died on Friday at the age of 95. His final resting place is yet to be agreed upon. And up north, or closer to Kenya, South Sudan President Salva Kiir and former rebel leader Riek Machar have agreed to form a transitional government which will be put in place by mid-November. The 2 leaders have been holding face-to-face talks for the first time in months following a protracted civil unrest. Kiir and Machar signed a peace agreement last year to end a civil war that left hundreds of thousands dead. The government says it lacks the funds for a key part of the deal to integrate former rebels into the national army. Now we take another break here. Sports is coming up, and it will include Malkia strikers jet out to the World Cup in Japan with ambitions after retaining the African Games title. That and more up next with Brian Otwa.
Do you want to enjoy the convenience of a credit card that fully adheres to Islamic principles of financing? Then Gulf African Bank's Awal credit card, the first Islamic credit card in East Africa, is the solution you're looking for. It is a card that will ultimately complement your lifestyle. The Gulf African Bank Awal Islamic credit card offers a viable option for all people ascribing to the Islamic mode of banking, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, to access interest-free credit. It also comes with great perks and privileges, including worldwide airport lounge access. You will be able to know the cost up front, which will empower your decision making. Call 071-107-5000, SMS AWAL to 21981, or visit your nearest branch to order yours today. Gulf African Bank, your partner through life's journey.
NTV continues to bring you great entertainment, news and sports shows. Stay tuned to NTV For free-to-air set-top boxes and digital TVs, please ensure your aerial is pointed for optimum picture. Then, rescan your set-top box to refresh the channels. When search is complete, scroll until you find your favorite channel under the name NTV or ADN NTV. Choose channel 91 on GoTV, 271 on DSTV, 106 on StarTimes, 13 on Zuku, and we're also on Signet. NTV, turning on your world.
The three sides of Anna.
We were born as identical triplets. I have a strong feeling that my sister, she's alive somewhere who knows where in this world.
What you did has no forgiveness.
Ana Lucia is my daughter. You're being unfair, Mother. You're being very unreasonable. Those are my parents that died too, and I also lost a sister, Grandma. And you have all forgotten that 3 years ago I had to bury my husband, the love of my life, Grandma.
The three sides of Anna.
Do you have what it takes to become the next generation of great innovators, corporate icons, and renowned engineers? Enroll now for our September 2019 intakes, Moi University, the foundation of knowledge.
Hope you had a fantastic day. Let's have a look at the day's sports news. Welcome, my name is Brian Otwal. Just days after conquering at the African Games, emerging with their 5th title, the national women's volleyball team, the Malkia Strikers, will be hoping to build on their stellar performance in their participation at the FIVB World Cup in Japan. The African Queens will be seeking to better their 2015 record of only 2 wins and even cast their nets wider for the elusive global title. This will be their 6th appearance for the 9-time African champions after making their maiden appearance way back in 1991. Kenya is ranked 20th globally, and the team that jetted out of the country this afternoon for Hamamatsu, Japan, are aware of the daunting task ahead. Malkia Strikers are determined to make an improvement and will be hoping to better their 2 wins record against Algeria and Peru that saw them finish 10th out of the 13 participating teams in 2015.
Ile ushindi tulipata pale Morocco ilitusaidia, imetupatia moral nzuri, so kwa training yetu ilituboost kidogo. Tumeweza kufanya marekebisho kidogo yenye tulipata pale, matatizo kama za reception na upande wa blocks, na ukiangalia kuna a lot of improvement.
It will get better with time. We hatuwezi sema tutawin or we target to bring the trophy, but at least good performance.
I think tutaperform poa. Hata kama tutapiga mtu, at least hata tupige Cameroon tena, to confirm hiyo venye tuliwachapa last time.
Coach Bitok has included 3 newbies in his ranks in fast rising Sharon Chepchumba, Lauren Chebet and Caroline Sirengo in his focus to build a team for the future from his youthful side.
It is the only opportunity that we can build our team for future purposes, especially now that we have the Olympic qualifiers coming in January, and I hope we will get good experience.
Ni poa especially for the young players who gain new experience because tunaenda kucheza na the best teams in the world. Yeah, so it's good for exposure experience na hiyo preparation ya Olympic qualifiers in January.
Kwanza ni motivation kwangu. And it's a big encouragement to start with because it's my first World Cup, and I hope it will give me a good exposure.
Kenya will open their campaign against United States before playing Argentina, Netherlands, Serbia and Brazil in a Hamamatsu in a round-robin format, while hosts Japan, Cameroon, Russia, South Korea and Dominican Republic will be based in Yokohama.
You know, our standards cannot compare favorably with the other countries, but we are climbing the ladder slowly. We started. In fact, it took us like 3 appearances before we could win 1 set.
Contrary to the last edition in 2015, the event will not act as a qualifier for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. After the Japan outing, the team will shift its focus yet again to the African qualifiers for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games in January next year. Kenya has not qualified for the Olympic Games since 2004. And cash-strapped Gor Mahia are scheduled to leave for Algeria on Thursday for their CAF Champions League clash against USM Alger on Sunday. This has Bandari FC intensified their training in preparation for that is in Mombasa before traveling to Nairobi for their CAF Confederation Cup match against Tunisia's Ben Garden at Kasarani on Saturday. Sean Kadavilis reports.
Despite the financial uncertainty surrounding the club, Kenyan Premier League champions Gor Mahia have announced a squad of 22 for their CAF Champions League first-round clash against USM Alger. The squad will leave for Algeria on Thursday, with a total of 16 players and 6 officials being booked on the flight via Doha. Ugandan defender Shafiq Batambuze will be absent after picking up an injury in the win over Aigle Noir in the return leg of the preliminary round clash. Maurice Ojuang could make his debut during the match, while Kenneth Muguna will lead the squad in Sunday's clash. Gor Mahia will be seeking their first away win in 11 Champions League matches. North Africa in particular has not been a good hunting ground for Kogalo, who in their last 3 trips there in both the Champions League and Confederation Cup have conceded 10 goals while scoring just 1 in return. Meanwhile, Bandari will host Tunisia's Ben Gourdane in the Confederation Cup at Kasarani on Saturday. Bernard Mwalala's men qualified for this round on away goals after holding Al Shandi to a 1-1 draw away in Sudan, and this came after the two sides had played out a 0-0 stalemate in Nairobi. A win for them against the Tunisians in both legs will see them qualify for the third and final round of the qualifiers to reach the group stages.
So nadhani kikubwa zaidi nimekuwa nikumbusha boys wangu ni kwamba lazima tuende Jumamosi tupate ushindi, ili kwa sababu mazingira ambayo tunaenda kule hatujui ni yapi, ili tukifika kule tujaribu kulinda ile ushindi wetu.
Na wali kama fans wakuja tu Nairobi waje waone mchezo utakuwa mzuri na inshallah tukijaliwa tutashinda inshallah.
Bandari have already made a piece of history as they've never been this far in continental football, and they will be hoping to add on to that after the round concludes. Sean Carter-Villis, NTV.
All the best to the two sides there. Moving on, the national deaf athletics team intensified their preparation ahead of their participation at the inaugural Africa Deaf Athletics Championships set to be held between September 16th and 25th at the Kasarani Stadium. National champion Martin Gashain, both 5,000 meters and 10,000 meters events, will lead the Kenyan team of 50 athletes to the Continentals. Just Akwamesa headlines the women's 10,000 meters team, which has Lauren Gonga and Grant Sijebichi. The women's 3,000 meters steeplechase has little-known Roslida Neita, while world record holder Lucas Wanjiru leads the men's pack in the same event. Kenya will be hoping to fend off competition from over 25 countries, among them South Africa, Algeria, Egypt, Ethiopia, and neighbors Rwanda and Uganda. Kenya was awarded the rights to host the event due to their dominance in the World Deaf Athletics Championships.
This competition, it'll make the deaf to also be equal like the hearing community. Then the government then itaona like the deaf people are also able and will support these games.
Kama kawaida katika riadha Kenya iko sawa. So tuko na matumaini na tuko na imani ya kwamba timu yetu itafanya vizuri. Say we want to be the champions in Africa, being the first deaf athletics championship.
And Kenya registered a win in their opening match of the 2019 Davis Cup Africa Group 3 tournament after seeing off Madagascar 2-1 in the competition that served off at the Nairobi club. Kevin Cheriot and Ismail Changawa thrashed their opponents Lucas Andriamasi Lalao and Jean-Jacques Rako Tahasi of Madagascar in straight sets of 6-4, 6-3 and 6-1, 2-6, 7-6 respectively in their respective singles. Madagascar bounced back in the doubles match, beating Kenya's Ibrahim Kibet and Albert Njogu. Kenya will face Algeria on Thursday in their second Group B match as Benin clash with Madagascar. In Group A, Tunisia tackle Nigeria and Mozambique cross paths with Namibia. The top 2 teams from the 2 pools will advance to promotional playoff for Group 2, while the bottom 2 sides will be demoted to play in Africa Group 4 in 2020. And Kenya Harlequins head coach Charles Kadevilis and team manager Godfrey Okoth have been suspended for 12 weeks from all rugby activities by the Kenya Rugby Union following the outcome of their misconduct case. The decision of the Independent Judicial Commission was released on Wednesday by KRU, and the ban ends on 21st November. The misconduct charge stemmed from postings on social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter by Kadavilis on the evening of Saturday, 27th July, after day one of the Kabeberi Sevens via Kenya Harlequin social media pages, pointing out at consistent questionable officiating. The KRU did add that Kadavilis and Okoth can appeal the suspension. And the 14th Madoka Half Marathon and this year's edition of the Mombasa 10 kilometers road race received a boost after telecommunication company Safaricom announced a 3 million sponsorship towards the two athletics events which are part of the Safaricom Athletics Series. Madoka Half Marathon, which will be held on the 5th October at the Ngerenyi Stadium, Taita Taveta County, received 2 million shillings, while the organizers of the Mombasa 10 kilometers road race on set for 22nd September will receive 1 million shillings. More than 1,000 athletes are expected to participate in both races, with the winners of the Mombasa road race set to receive 100,000 shillings each, while 300 shillings each will be at stake for the winners of the Madoka Half Marathon.
This event has given us a lot of encouragement, and more so, our people in Taita are very excited about it. And we don't want to feel that it's just for the Taita region. We've actually been wanting to promote it as the coast region.
Since its inception 14 years ago, the race has nurtured great champions, such as Daniel Mwindi, Rosina Musembi, John Mwangangi, and Philadelphia and Miami Half Marathon champion Panuel Mkungo.
And holders United States suffered a shock 89-79 loss to France in the quarterfinals of the Basketball World Cup in China. The US had won the past two World Cups and not lost in 58 international games, a run stretching back to 2006. France were 51-41 ahead in the third quarter before the United States moved into a 72-65 lead, but the French fought back to take the victory. Evan Fournier scored 22 points, while Rudy Gobert finished with 21 points. France will play Argentina in the semi-finals on Friday, with Spain taking on either Australia or Czech Republic in the other match. This will be the first time the United States have failed to win a medal at the World Cup since 2002, when they finished 6th.
That has given us great basketball.
Wake up to nothing but the best in news, conversation starters, and hard-hitting interviews that keep you informed for the day ahead.
Up and early, 6 on the nose. These people don't sleep. Fix fast the data protection.
Again tomorrow night. Have a lovely night. My name is Brian Tual. Back to you, Mark.
And an embarrassing loss for America. Thank you, Brian, for the sports on the desk, as well for the rest of the stories, and for those behind NTV tonight, including Flora Atieno, our sign language interpreter. Thank you for making it worth our time. Have yourself a good night.
This is NTV.
Welcome to Turkana University College. Turkana University is a center of research, innovation, and technological development for advancement of the society. The university is located in the vast resource-rich county of Turkana. We offer unique competency-based training in schools of sciences, business and economics, education, and TVET training. Apply now for our January, May, and September intakes for postgraduate degree and diploma certificate in the following programs: environmental sciences, business administration, environmental health, human evolution biology, renewable energy and technology, education, development studies and social work, information technology, public administration and management, agriculture, early childhood development, ECDE, water technology, marine sciences, petroleum studies, among other courses. Turkana University, the cradle of knowledge.
Utakubaliana nami kuwa wapenzi ambao hawajafanikiwa kubarikiwa na watoto huhangaika mno kabla ya kupata suluhu. Bi Sara na Sieku kutoka hapa Kenya na Hens kutoka Ujerumani wanatuelezea jinsi walivyonasuliwa bila panda shuka na mapito mengi.
Tulipokutana mara kwanza, yeye alikuwa anataka mtoto na pia mimi nilikuwa nataka kwa fight like 1 year. Hatukufanikiwa, akaniambia the best way tuende kwa daktari tukaangaliwe. Tukakaa kuangalia tuenda wapi, tukapata tukaambiwa tuende Makini.